Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Phil Honig.
And I'm Emma Brett.
And Emma, did you know that the first overall pick in the draft was Andrew Wiggins? So, reactions.
I really liked his suit. That's my reaction. Am I supposed to have...
Hot fashion take on pulling a Craig.
Is that supposed to... Am I supposed to have a different reaction?
Well, I mean, I know you're a big draft Nick, and I know you've been scouting these guys for a while. So
Oh yeah, I've been on this just research for weeks now. It's all I can think about. Yeah, I sleep the draft, eat the draft, breathe the draft. You know.
All right. Well, let's talk about something that you do actually eat, breathe, and sleep.
The Bachelorette. Woohoo.
Okay, so Emma, I have a question for you.
All right.
Why does Andi keep doing that double hand wave thing?
I don't know. I think it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know the inner workings of Andi's mind.
I don't know. It's so weird because every single time
yeah.
she's just double waving right there whenever she sees the guys, and she never does it to on a one-on-one. She never does that. It's always when there's a big group of guys coming at her.
Maybe she secretly had aspirations of being a pageant queen. So that's kind of left over from her days of pretending she was a pageant queen and just trying to wave to her crowd of followers.
Is that a thing? Do people have to double wave they're pageant queens?
I don't know. You don't have to double wave, but some of them do, the slow double wave thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this episode as a whole? Because I kind of feel like this was one of the more dull episodes of the season.
Yeah, they really tried to make it dramatic, and I don't think it necessarily worked. It did a really good job of making me kind of angry, though.
Why?
Just very. Everything seems so contrived.
Oh,
everything
yeah.
on this show seems contrived, but this seemed extra contrived. By the way, I know you're really interested, but the Atlanta Hawks draft hat is awesome.
I'm
really
very interested.
You need to have this on in the background. The suits this year are excellent. Last year they were so boring, and this year they have just been absolutely excellent.
Do you think they all agreed, made a pact, let's all dress really cool?
Maybe. I mean, this is a super talented draft class too. So, great talent.
Great
plus
fashion.
Plus you have great suits. And I'm not talking. There have been some really off the wall stuff in the draft before, but this is more than you normally see. And I like it. I definitely like it. Because last year, the big thing was everyone was just going to, dress, or everyone was just going to put, their college uniform on the inside of their suit, and then they would, open it up and, show everyone they were flashing them or something.
Yeah.
But this year, it's been really good. Just top to bottom, too.
Well, I'm happy that you can appreciate the fashion sense of the draftees.
Speaking of fashion sense, did you notice that Andi did not have a sparkly dress for the rose ceremony?
Yeah, she did.
Did she?
It was black, but it had sparkle.
Okay.
Wishful thinking on your end.
Yeah, whatever.
No, she did. She also had some interesting, she had another turtleneck. She had some interesting outfit choices this week in general, but to each their own.
Yeah, I got you.
But I want to talk about Nick's date.
All right, let's talk about Nick's date.
I was so happy he got the date. I know you were.
I was not happy that he got the date. Literally last week, we found out that he cannot be a part of any kind of actual, group setting, and then they reward him with a one-on-one.
But he's going to be on a group date the next...
They reward him with a one-on-one over Cody, who has not yet had a one-on-one. Now, obviously, Cody was not going on, and Nick is probably going to be in the final 3, if not the final 2, maybe even win it. But every single time that Andi makes a bad move with her guys, and I've cataloged 3 of them, it's always been with Nick. I mean, think about this. So I would say that her 3 worst moves when it comes to interacting with the guys were completely ignoring Eric, who she was having like relationship difficulties with, to accept and like read the card from accept the flowers and read the card from Nick, right?
Yes.
Then in the last episode, the one before this one, what does she do? During the group date cocktail party thing, she spends the entire time like grilling these guys about Nick.
Yeah.
Not asking about, not asking about them, and she's barely spent any time with these guys at all. And now she's grilling them about somebody else. I mean, these guys get like 10 minutes with this to talk to this girl a week, and now she's spending the entire time talking about some other dude. I didn't like it. I'll be honest. I really did not like it.
But what does that tell you about her and Nick?
It tells me that she's doing the exact same thing that Juan Pablo did, that everyone killed him for.
What?
She's picking favorites, like she is.
She kind of had, like, this is absolutely a context in which you can pick favorites. You don't get married to someone who's not your favorite.
But, but it's the exact same thing with Juan Pablo. Like, Juan Pablo didn't care about some woman, so he said, I don't want to make out tonight.
which is a lot worse.
To a different degree, but I mean, like, Crystal Farmer was one of the people that she basically steamrolled for answers, and like, it was just, I just did not like the way that she approached it. I'll be honest.
Okay, well, maybe she didn't approach it in a positive light, but I think she really likes Nick, and she was so freaked out about these things she was hearing that I think that just lets us know that she really, really cares about that relationship. And, like, you can't help, like, she's not going to like all of these guys. Like, she already knows she's not going to end up married to Brian. She's not going to end up married to Cody, which, like, obviously she's not. So why, like, I get that you have to be fair, and if she's having a conversation with a guy, it probably shouldn't be about Nick or Josh or Chris or anyone. But, hey, whatever. That's not Nick's fault.
All I'm saying is that she's really started to rub me the wrong way, and a lot of the same things that everyone talked bad about Juan Pablo for doing.
People talk bad about Juan Pablo because he was a jerk to women.
I mean, Andi hasn't been great, honestly. Yes. I'm starting to turn on Andi as a Bachelorette.
Andi has been fine. You're being dramatic about how she's being.
I don't think I am. Anyway, so the third thing happened this week, and everybody and their mother expected Cody to get the first date.
Even Cody did too. Poor guy.
See, like, this is a big problem for me. Like, I get that you have questions about your and Nick's relationship. Like, I get that. I get that completely, but you can't just do that. You cannot just, like, you basically slapped Cody in the face when you did that. And I really did not think that the guy didn't like it either.
Okay, you have to look at it this way. They're going into a week in Italy. The producers tell Andi, okay, we're going to Venice and then we're going to Verona. Awesome. They tell Andi, this is what we want to do for the group date, and then this is what we're thinking for the 2 one-on-ones, one in Venice, one in Verona. Andi's thinking, like, I'm just speculating here, but Andi with Cody had no really romantic connection as of yet. And so I think the more romantic date, or the more date that had something interesting or a little more substance, was the date that Cody went on with, like, the letters and that kind of thing. So if she's looking at the 2 dates objectively and being like, I think, like, this is the date I need to go on with Cody, and that just happens to be in Verona, which just happens to be the latter date. Like, I don't think it was necessarily
I disagree. I think
an intentional.
I think both of them were basically the same level of romanticism. I completely agree. I think she has really been completely unfair with all the guys, and she's getting a total pass for it, which I don't appreciate.
Okay, well, I disagree, but that's...
Don't like it. It was just so odd. Like, every single person watching that, or if you'd been a part of that situation, you'd be like, oh, she's taking Cody because she's never had a one-on-one with him. And then, again, she's just like, oh, hey, Nick, here you go. Here's your one-on-one. And, like, the thing about Nick and answering questions that he has, like, you know you can spend time with the guy. Like, you already have established that fact. What you haven't established yet is whether or not Nick can operate in a group.
She wasn't after whether or not he can operate in a group, although I'm sure she was interested in that.
Nick has the problem with Nick is that he is like he's the classic over-possessive person. Like he just like and the thing is he doesn't understand like why everybody is sort of rubbed the wrong way by him. He says, I don't know, or hold on, I've actually got the let's see, hold on, I got you. This is really good. This is a really good podcast, by the way. All right. He literally asks her, when did I become the bad guy? And I thought there was a really telling scene earlier in the show when Cody finally gets his one-on-one because everybody else got sent on the group date. Literally every single person in the room like stands up and gives him some dap. They're like really excited for him. And you just know that if Nick had been there, he would not have been excited at all.
I don't think that's speculation. I'm not.
But he has multiple times admitted, like, I don't care about the other guys. Like, all I care about is just you. And like, I didn't come. He basically has like multiple times stated, I'm not here to make friends.
He has, but he's not the only guy to have done, like, JJ says stuff like that. Like, other guy, it just hasn't come out yet.
Here's the difference between Nick and JJ. That was the first time we ever saw anything like that from JJ.
No, JJ's always been a little bit whiny about, like, Andi. He hasn't ever said anything that combative, but he's been whiny.
Like, the only other thing that you would say is that he got way too riled up when that, what's his name? Andrew got that girl's number. But the thing about him is he's just really, like...
emotional?
The thing about Nick, like, he just comes off as... I don't know what it is that bothers me about Nick.
I think it's like you say about Claire from last season, that he just probably doesn't come off as great on camera as he might in a normal setting. Hence why he might not be good with the group dates. Like, neither was Claire. Like, but I don't think that makes him a bad guy. I think that just makes him not one of the bros.
I think he's just way too possessive. And here's the other thing that worries me. Nick is 33 years old. Now, Nick does not come across as the kind of person who by 33 would still be like completely single. And here's what I mean by that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Conspiracy theory.
I'm about to get real insane. So generally when guys on this show like are older and are still single and then come on this show, they did so, or they're like that for one of two reasons. One, they've been very career focused, or two, they aren't at the like level of maturity / they just weren't ready to settle down. Nick doesn't really seem to fall into either of those categories. And so I'm guessing that if you comb through his previous relationships, you would find a lot of girls that were sort of weirded out by how possessive he got.
I am not comfortable to make that kind of judgment on any of these guys.
I am absolutely comfortable. I am totally down to make sweeping generalizations about these people.
Okay, well, I will leave you to your theories, and I think we should move on from Nick because we don't agree. And
Whatever.
well, let's just move on from that.
Oh,
He told her he was falling in love with her, though. That's big.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And he said salty again.
That's true, he did.
Can we move
Whatever.
on from him?
We can. Oh, one last note about that date. Second date in a row, Andi was drinking white wine.
Yeah, maybe she got tired of the red.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes you just need a change of pace.
All right, let's move on to the group date.
Okay, well, I want to say something about Josh that kind of extended into the beginning of the episode, too. That's
Okay.
So, Josh is such a gossip, I've come to realize. He is up in every dramatic situation, Josh is there. When Cody didn't get a rose, they were all, confused, but Josh was, really concerned and kept harping on it. Just with everything, about the secret admirer, Josh was really concerned about the secret admirer. Everything that happened, Josh is always, up in the business.
Right, and I was actually thinking about this earlier, too, because Josh was the one who confronted Andrew along with JJ about Numbergate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. This was definitely not Josh's finest hour.
He just came across as, gossipy and, dude, mind your own business type thing.
I got you. I don't know. I think, or you could say this, that Josh is just concerned about everybody else.
But, you don't, there's a difference between being concerned in a, Mom Renee from last season way and concerned in a, I need to know everything and be in everything way.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not think that Josh had a good week, I'll be honest.
Maybe the stress is getting to him.
Maybe it is. I mean, I can't imagine this is exactly the easiest show for somebody who's an obvious type A personality like him to just sort of go through and just be cool with everything.
Or maybe he's super possessive of Andi. LOL, just kidding. Go on, sorry.
Do you think that there's something that Josh is hiding? I don't, but this episode tried to play up his almost paranoia so much that it kind of just makes me wonder.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was really freaked out about the lie detector thing. I get that I get the whole I want somebody to trust me based upon building a relationship. That's normal. Everyone wants that. But he was very defensive about it and very basically telling Andi this was a shitty date. And it was probably not Andi's idea, it was production.
Oh no, it was definitely not Andi's idea.
So I just felt the fact that he was so defensive about it, even after he knew she already got rid of the answers, so nobody was in trouble. Why worry about it then? It just made me wonder.
It made me wonder too. It was really weird. Speaking of that lie detector test, if you were designing questions for that for it, what would you have asked? Because I had my two that I came up with were, one, do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
And two, are you gay?
Are you gay? Do you think a lot of them are gay? Maybe?
No, but okay, here's the real reason why I really actually wanted to ask that question. So, as you know, I'm a big football fan, right?
Yes.
And so, you know who Manti Te'o is?
Yeah, I know that whole controversy.
Yeah, so, and one of the big storylines was, is Manti Te'o gay? And so, afterwards, a bunch of stories kept coming out that people would, all these scouts were asking these, college kids, do you have a girlfriend? How many girlfriends have you had? And obviously trying to figure out if these kids were gay, based on absolutely nothing. And so I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of funny if all of a sudden they were just hey JJ,
are you gay?
Got a question for you.
Oh my gosh. The first thing I would ask is, are you ready in about a month or 2 months or however long they have left? I'd be like, are you ready to get down on one knee and propose to someone and be married? That's what I would ask, because I guarantee, like, it's pretty much a no.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then they're going to feel awkward saying no.
Yeah, but you have, like, so much time afterwards, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, it's not just like you can, like, so basically you get the, like, you get down on one knee and you make this quote unquote massive air quotes right now, firm commitment to marry this person. And then, like, how many times have we seen this get, just get, these engagements get blown up?
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, I'm not, like, by any means, obviously, on the show, like, an engagement can mean whatever. It doesn't have to mean anything, but...
I really would have liked to see their answers for these, though.
I would have, too. I said she didn't read them, and I think, even though, like, you can blow off the engagement, I think to most people, like, proposing to someone and being engaged is still a big enough deal where you would feel uncomfortable doing it if you didn't want to do it, you know? Like, even if you're like, oh, but we could end it in a month, like, that's still a big thing to do on television. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. But I would like to read their answers. I'm sad Andi ripped them up.
So am I, honestly. I would have liked to hear what Josh M was so paranoid about.
I would have just liked to hear who were the people who lied and who weren't. Like, I don't even need to know their answers. I just wanted to know which of the guys had lies.
That's true. Yeah, that would have been. But at the same time, like, it's not like these things really actually tell you who's lying or not.
Yeah, like, lie detectors are beatable and they're not entirely accurate. So, yeah. Who really knows?
All I know is that lie detectors are not accurate. You're the psychology person here, so you'd have to shed more light on that than I could.
I mean, you're not allowed to use them in court anymore because they're not accurate.
Wait, when could you use them in court?
Like,
did somebody just like
for most of forever? Like, since they were invented?
That's a really long time.
I know. No, since they were invented, like, they were used in court as, like, evidence. But not anymore.
I got you.
Also, during Andi and Josh's conversation, where Andi was basically saying that, like, talking to him about, like, everything. This was after the lie detector thing, and she was, like, talking about her concerns with why he was so angry about it. All he needed to do was be like, Andi, I care about you, and this is why. But he, like, wouldn't say that. He was being so, like, dumb. Like, boys are just, like, he wasn't picking up on the cue at all. Like, all he needed to do was say, like, how much he cares about her, and she would have shut up and been happy. But he wasn't doing that. Like, it was horrible.
I don't know. Like I said, it was not the greatest week of Josh M's life.
No, it was not, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh, well. Too sad for Josh. Hopefully he can rebound next week.
I'm sure he can.
I'm sure he can, too. Do you notice that scarf that Josh M was wearing?
We all, I'm sure, watching noticed that scarf.
It's like, so many scarves ever since Markel left.
Maybe they're just trying to, like, be as cool as him.
Maybe. I don't, like, you can't be as cool as him, though, so I don't know why you're even trying.
I don't know, but that scarf didn't look right on him.
That scarf looked very, very weird on him. There was somebody else who was wearing it. I think it might have been JJ.
I think it was JJ, because he tends to dress interestingly.
At least in the pantaloons region.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, wait, when was JJ and Chris's, like, fight?
That was after, it was after Chris got the group date rose.
Oh, and that's when JJ was like, I don't feel like we should be congratulating each other.
That was so manufactured, it wasn't even funny.
That was just, like, awkward.
It was like, nothing had really, like, preceded it. JJ hadn't shown any discomfort beforehand. It was just, you could just tell that the producers were like, all right, JJ, we need you to take one for the team. We need you to start bitching out everybody else.
Yeah, that was just awkward.
Chris shut him down, though.
I love Chris.
Chris grew on me in this episode. I am not gonna lie.
Good. Chris is like my favorite for sure.
I know he is. He's still not getting past hometowns, but Chris grew on me in this episode.
Yes, he is. Maybe. I don't know. I really like Chris, and I'm happy that he flat out shut him down and was like, what else are you gonna do? You know, like, really, like, what else are they gonna do? That's the game. But
I don't know. I was really impressed by Chris, though.
Good.
He had a really good week. Not only did he have that, but it came out that he was a secret admirer.
Yeah.
Chris has really good handwriting.
And he said him and Andy's kiss was like one of the best moments of his life.
But he did not say that he was falling in love with her.
Well, they haven't had as much time recently one-on-one, I think.
I guess, but still, both Nick and Marcus said it this week.
Okay, this is jumping ahead a bit. Did you find it super strange that they did not, like, play up Marcus saying that he loves her at all? Like, they didn't build up to it. Like, usually they make it, like, a big deal and, you know, spend a lot of time on that conversation then. But, like, they literally just, like, flipped through it and he's like, I'm falling for you, I'm in love with you. And then they, like, flipped back to something else. I was like, wait, what?
I think it's so established that Marcus is such a front runner at this stage that we didn't really need to.
Okay, that makes sense.
And, like, the show definitely could have played it up more for some cheap drama, but with everything else that was going on in this episode, I mean, this is a pretty negative episode.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So I think that was more the theme that they were going for, and really playing up the Marcus is in love with Andy type thing. I don't think that would have fit in with the motif
of Andy being disenchanted with her journey type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even though she's got this knight in shining armor, I honestly, in my power rankings for the show, I've got Marcus at number 1 right now, then Nick at number 2, then Josh M at number 3, then Chris the Farmer at number 4.
So you don't have Josh M winning anymore?
Nope, I have Josh M getting the fantasy suites. But Nick had a good week. Josh M had a bad week. Things could change pretty quickly next week.
I think Josh gets eliminated after hometowns.
Nope, not happening.
We'll see.
Never happening.
I just kind of want to have a different opinion than you, so I'm going to go with that.
Very fair. Very fair. I mean, if you had the same opinion I had, I would probably change mine too.
So there we go. Anyway, okay. Cody's date was next. I honestly was so bored during Cody's date, even though it was cute, just because I knew Cody was going home.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And I felt so bad when he was saying all this stuff to her, I want to take you home, and he couldn't pick up on the hint that she was so unhappy and starting to cry, and he just kept going on smiling and not realizing it was clear that she was about to dump him.
Cody grew on me this episode. He's a big kid.
Yeah, I felt really sad for him. I was sad.
I felt pretty bad for him too. I wanted him to stay around a little while longer. But if you've noticed, at this point, the only negative person left is Nick. The only person who doesn't get along with the other guys is Nick. She eliminated JJ, and Cody obviously got along pretty well with everybody, but except for Nick. So, Nick is just sort of this guy on the outside, whereas everybody else is pretty tight knit at this point.
I think he just isn't the same type of dude as the other guys.
I don't believe that. Well, I believe that, but I think that's a really crappy excuse for him. Just because you're thrown into an unbelievably weird situation with 20 other guys, and you can't connect with a single one of them.
I don't know, man.
Production's
also only showing us cuts of Nick and the guys that they want us to see.
True, but there hasn't been a single clue that Nick is accepted as one of their own by everybody else. Everybody else seems to just understand, hey, this is a messed up situation. we're going to make the best of it. And Nick is like on the outside saying to everybody else, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be friends with everybody. I'm not even going to act happy for another person.
Hey,
I don't know.
he has to do. As Chris, the farmer, said, you do you, and I'll do me. So
true. I think I've realized why I don't like Nick though.
Why?
Who do you think Nick looks like?
Did we talk about this?
We have not talked about this.
Okay.
This is completely out of the blue.
I don't he looks like someone because I keep thinking he looks familiar, but I haven't placed him. So who do you think he looks like?
I think he looks like Andy Murray, the tennis player.
Oh, that's not where I was going, but I actually know.
Maybe it's the curly hair.
Yeah.
But I would say if you had to pick his famous person doppelganger, it would be Andy Murray. And Andy Murray is just like this, is known for being just this like dickish, like doesn't play well with others kind of person. And so maybe I'm just projecting those feelings onto Nick at this point.
Maybe. You need to reevaluate that.
I'm trying to be introspective about this whole thing.
So that's unusual for you. Anyway.
Whatever.
There's another poem. I'm done with Cody's date because that was boring, right? Can we be done?
Yeah, I guess so. There wasn't really much to do it.
Brian, during the rose ceremony, pulled out a poem. They're all doing poems now.
Everybody's doing poems,
and his was plagiarized from a movie, by the way. 10 Things I Hate About You. That was like the same concept. I'm pretty sure he ripped it from Heath Ledger's movie.
It's not a good look if he does.
Nope, but I think maybe he just felt like he needed to do a poem because other people had been, so.
Like, everybody's doing poems. I mean, so we've seen poems from, well, I'm not going to call Nick's poem a poem because that would be a disservice to poetry. But we've seen we've at least seen letters from a ton of people. We saw a letter we've seen 3 different letters from Chris the farmer. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've seen them from 2 others too. And I can't think of who they are.
Nick sent something before.
Oh, Nick sent a letter before, and that was actually pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then I feel like somebody else did in the beginning.
So do I, and I can't think of who it was.
It obviously wasn't that.
Obviously wasn't memorable. I mean, it's not like any of these poems are gonna be that memorable. So let's be real here.
Yeah, it's just awkward on the show. So I'm guessing because you hate Nick, did you disapprove of him taking Andi right away? Because I thought that was like a good move.
I generally disapprove of people who have the rose. Somebody else did that earlier this year, and I was like, dude, you already have the group date. You don't need to take her first. I would like to see the success rate of people taking the Bachelor/Bachelorette first, because Brian did it during the group date cocktail party after the lie detector test stuff. Uh-huh. And he was like, "Oh, like I think this is the thing that's gonna get me the group roast. I'm showing initiative and everything." And it didn't exactly work out for him.
No, it didn't.
No. I mean, it didn't work out poorly for him. It just didn't work. I would really like to see the number of people who get the group date versus people or who get the group date rose versus people who like pulled them away at the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. But I like with him, like she really liked it. Like her reaction was so positive towards that I think that like it does look good to her. Maybe not with Brian because she's not that into Brian, but I think she like likes when a man kind of like takes the lead. I think she's that kind of girl.
Oh, like she definitely is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think it has much of an impact on anything, to be honest. I think that the show makes a big deal out of it, and at the same time, like like all the guys or girls, depending on which season we're in, they all make a big deal out of it, but the Bachelor or Bachelorette just doesn't really care that much.
Yeah. I don't know. I approved, but the guys were really mad, so I felt kind of bad.
I don't feel bad for Nick at all. Nick has dug his own grave.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see about that. But what did I? Oh, I thought Nick and Andy was really cute when they were like talking too, though. They just have a lot of chemistry. So did her and Marcus, though. Like her and Marcus were like, I don't know. I like Andy. That's all.
All right. I don't know. Andy, I'm souring on Andy.
I think she just had a bad week to you. Like I think you need a positive week.
Maybe I do. There's just been a lot of stuff that like I feel like she's getting a pass on that a Bachelor would not get a pass on.
Oh, you're so anti-feminist.
I'm very.
Watch what you're about to say on a public podcast.
The public podcast with 3 listeners.
Yeah, hey, that's still public.
This is true. But the good thing is my name outside of the announcing it at the beginning of this podcast is not recorded by anyone ever.
I'm going to start writing it in the headlines that each upload.
God. Don't do that. You're the worst.
No, I would not do that.
Whatever. Well, once again, shout out to our 3 regular listeners on Paulina Craig. You are, God, what is the appropriate?
You are the sunshine of my life.
Basically, like if we are Mark Antony, then you are Cleopatra.
All right. I don't have much to say besides I want to like give my prediction now that I just made up in my mind. I don't think that this is gonna work long term for Andy. Like I think
no, it is not.
I think she's gonna end up with someone, but it's not gonna work out.
The only person that it's gonna work out long term with is Marcus. That's the only long term chance that anybody has.
I think regardless, I don't think it's gonna work.
Maybe it's just because I apparently have this like personal vendetta against Nick that somehow developed. Whatever. But I just see him as way too possessive, and I don't think that's something that Andy likes.
No, but I also don't agree that he's like I'd have to see him in like the real world to know if he's possessive.
I mean, the thing is, like, would you, objectively speaking, if you were going to rank the attractiveness of all the guys that are left, where would you put Nick?
Above Dylan, maybe just above Dylan, honestly.
So, what you're saying is that Nick is not necessarily, like, model attractive, right?
Exactly. Like, he's cute. I wouldn't call him hot.
Like, Andy is, like, once you get out into the real world, Andy's gonna get hit on by a bunch of dudes. Like, it doesn't matter if she's in a relationship or not.
Yeah.
She's gonna get hit on by a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Nick does not strike me as the person who's gonna be down for that sort of thing.
Well, I don't think any like guy likes that sort of thing, but I'm not gonna pass a judgment on if he'd be irrational about it.
The only experience that we have with Andy or with Nick and other dudes is on these group dates, and Nick has been uniformly awful on them.
Okay, you have a point, but I'll look forward to watching next week when he's obviously gonna be on the group date and seeing if he tries to improve.
He's going to try. I think that he'll be good for a little while, but I don't think it's going to work out throughout the entire date.
Well, we will see. But
I don't know. We will see.
That is all I have.
I think that's all I got too. I didn't watch the preview, so.
I didn't either.
Okay. Who do you think gets one-on-ones? I think there's a good chance that Josh gets one, maybe.
I was just gonna say Josh gets one, and Maybe, no, not Dylan.
See, that's the first person I thought of because I don't think Marcus gets one because they seem to be doing pretty well so far. I would say that
Chris!
Has Chris gotten the second one-on-one? No, I guess he hasn't because Nick was the first double up. So
I think Josh and Chris or Josh and Dylan.
I guess that